Welcome to Exploring Humanity Through Sci-Fi, a vintage 1996 conversation with Lois McMaster Bujold. When we talked in this interview, her novel came out, Memory. Now, this is interesting because this is actually the format that we did when we were on New York radio. So you'll hear Patrick Stewart on Star Trek First Contact talking about directing and what he would direct. And then Ernest Lilley reviews the latest at the time from Barbara Hambley. We'll get started in just a moment.
Good evening, I'm Tony Tellado.
And I'm Ernest Lilley.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Talk. Our theme by Larry Cardarelli. I like that song, don't you?
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, it's catchy, isn't it? After 13 weeks, we should be, right? We cover science fiction, horror, fantasy, comics, and collectibles through live guests and tape interviews. Email us at sci-fi talk@aol.com. Tonight, live on the phone, Nebula and Hugo Award-winning author Lois McMaster Bujold. We have a review tonight.
The review is Mother of Winter, Barbara Hambley.
Sounds interesting. All right.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Absolutely. As Star Trek First Contact makes record box office runs, I recently asked Patrick Stewart if he would want to follow in Jonathan Frakes' steps and direct movies.
Although one of the charms of this movie is what a wonderfully relaxed and easygoing and cheerful and laid-back performance Jonathan gives in this movie. It's astonishing how comfortable he seems to be. But I have never been able to understand how Mel and Ken Branagh and these people direct themselves in major roles. I don't know how it's possible. Whenever I directed episodes that I had anything to do in, I always felt I couldn't act. I felt like a beginner when the acting came about. So no, I wouldn't want to direct something with myself, but I'm actively looking for projects that would be more appropriate to the kind of thing I want to direct to do. It is, the best job in the world, directing movies.
Ernest, we have an interesting review tonight. Barbara Hambley.
Yes, Barbara Hambley, Mother of Winter. 13 years ago, Barbara Hambley gave us the third book in the best-selling saga of the realm of Darwith, a parallel world joined to ours not through Quinn Mallory's remote, but by dreamers and reality-crossing mages. In the first trilogy, Gil, a history student turned swordswoman, and Rudy, a California airbrush artist, of late a fledgling wizard, found themselves in a dark fantasy world wanting only to click their heels thrice and be home. But by story's end they had found reasons enough to choose staying. Gil is in love with the wizard Ingold, whom she is sworn to protect, and Rudy with Mindale, ruler of the keep. Their adventures are part Narnia, part Lord of the Rings, and part Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. Well, they're back. 5 years have passed in the realm, and Gil and Rudy are defending their respective loves in this world where magic works, but happily ever after doesn't. Besieged from without by a coming ice age, and from within by political struggle for control of the keep, Gil travels south with Ingold to free her from an enchantment that threatens his own life, and Rudy fends off grotesque creatures from local legend that have only lately turned out to be quite real. He also dreams of the Bald Lady, a mage from the ancient days, who holds the key to the failing magics that feed the hydroponic gardens that may be their only hope in the face of the oncoming cold. Barbara Hambley weaves all this into a mystery for her characters to solve through clues entwined in the fabric of life in the realm. The author's background as medievalist and martial artist provide the ring of truth to the characters, especially Gil's swordplay, while Rudy's Californian perspective provides an interesting point of view as he regards feudal politics and is in turn regarded by inhabitants of the realm. This well-written fantasy reunites us with favorite friends and promises more adventures ahead.
Sounds very interesting.
There are plenty of Barbara Hambley fans out there who've been waiting for this, I'm sure.
Okay, great. Lois McMaster Bujold has written a very successful series of novels about her main protagonist, Miles Vorkosigan. I got it right?
Real close, Tony.
I was close on that one. Starting in 1983 with Shards of Honor, which won the Compton Crook Award for her first-time novel, she has gone on to win 3 Hugos for her series, in addition to winning the Nebula and Locus Awards. Welcome to our show, Ms. Bujold.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Hi, Lois. It's Ernest.
Hi there.
You remember Ernest?
Yes, hi.
Well, this character is very interesting. He's probably probably as far as science fiction, the most fragile action hero in a sci-fi novel. Where did he come from?
Well, Miles has a whole bunch of sources. He has a physical template in a hospital pharmacist I used to work with back in my pharmacy technician days. That's where I got Miles's height of 4 feet 9 inches. This fellow's head was level with the top of my shoulder, and I measured that to the wall and discovered that to be 4 foot 9. And he had the leg braces and the limp when he walked, and certain physical characteristics. He was also one of the most brilliant guys in the hospital to work with. But Miles has more of an emotional template out of my own relationship with my father. One of his besetting characteristics is a really bad case of great man's son syndrome, which I sort of think I share. My dad was a very hard act to follow. He was an old Caltech man and a professor of engineering at Ohio State University, and in fact where I got my taste for science fiction.
Miles thinks he should be 6'1", but you didn't ever consider making a larger-than-life action hero.
Well, that's been done. You know, the thing is, when you're playing with a genre that's already been worked over, is to try to seek the angles, seek the points of view that not everyone has done before you.
Lois, to stay in the why isn't Miles something else just for a second, and this may be a little bit unfair, but did you ever consider writing Miles as a woman in the beginning?
No, although in the very first version of The Warrior's Apprentice, he did have a sister who got written out. I've always sort of missed her, but
there goes my sister question.
Yeah, went away before the book really got past about chapter 5.
So for people who aren't tremendously familiar with the stories, Miles becomes an admiral. Could you just do a real brief thing on what Miles became before memory?
Okay. We're asking me to sum up 10 books here. Basically, Miles develops a dual identity. He has his identity at home as a barrier and Vor, which is a sort of military aristocrat of his homeworld, which is tough sledding when you're 4 foot 9 and have brittle bones and don't fit in at all. And he develops a second identity as a sort of covert ops agent out in the galaxy at large, as Admiral Naismith of the Dendari Mercenaries, which is, for Miles, a far more satisfying identity. It allows him to use sort of the full range of his abilities and talents. And over about a 10-year period, by the way, he gets his homeworld's security organization to fund his mercenary fleet, and
ImpSec and the opposing Simonillion.
Out for them in the back beyond, or in the great beyond. So he's kind of having his cake and eating it too throughout his 20s, as he has this one identity as the very active Admiral Naismith, and the other as the rather dull.
There's also a little bit of there's also a little bit of a detective in him in some of the stories too. I know that you had read Holmes and also Lord Peter Wimsey, I believe. I wanted to ask you, what do you think his favorite Holmes story would be?
Oh, heavens, that's an interesting off-the-wall question.
Does Miles read? I don't think I remember seeing him with a book in his hand.
There was one scene where he fell asleep reading a novel and ended up stuck in a bog, so I'm not sure how assiduously he reads. But yes, he does read.
I was talking about Miles to Tony. I have been for several days now, as a matter of fact. And he said, it sounds like there's a lot of James Kirk and a lot of James Bond in Miles.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, Kirk was never my favorite character, so I'd draw the line there.
Okay. Well, it's probably the best parts of Kirk.
But certainly, I don't know, he's sort of a distant descendant of James Bond through Flandry from the Poul Anderson stories. Poul Anderson's Flandry tales were ones that I loved back in the early 60s.
Loved Flandry. And
scarfed up.
Could we say that he might be more closer to Horatio Hornblower?
Yeah, he has a little of that, too. He's got a little of T.E. Lawrence. That was also a short soldier of history whom I studied back in junior high with great interest. Lawrence of Arabia came out as a movie about that. Ben and I went to see it, I think it was 7 times. Ended up reading all sorts of things that most 8th graders don't read as a result.
More with Lois McMaster Bujold in just a moment.
Okay, we're going to talk about memory for a minute. Memory's been out a couple months now, and in Memory, you took the sort of adolescent life of wonder that Miles was leading as a covert ops agent, tore it all down, and built him up again. How have the fans been dealing with it, and what comes next?
The fans have been enjoying it very much, because one of the things that I give them that makes my work different from all the other space operas out there, which it superficially resembles, is the fact that I have characters who really do live and grow and change, and in Miles's case, grow up, not very willingly. But,
kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming, he is dragged into kind of, the next phase of adult existence. He had it all sewn up for a while, but there were some flaws with his dual identity. First of all, it was of course all based on a lie to start with, and then this caught up with him, eventually over time, and he had to finally reconcile and make some very difficult choices. And Memory is pretty much about this. He split himself apart to solve one problem back in his youth, and now he has to put himself back together to solve another problem when he hits age 30.
Tony says we've got to take a break.
Yes, we have to take a break and pay some bills, as I say. We'll be right back in just a moment. If you're looking for a better way to present or collaborate during your conference calls, your solution is simple: web conferencing with GoToMeeting. During your call, everyone logs on to GoToMeeting.com, and your computer screen shows up on their computer screens. It's like you're all in the same room. GoToMeeting is perfect for sales or product demos, training, or real-time collaboration. Plus, you're not charged per minute, like other providers. You can meet as often as you want, as long as you need. With GoToMeeting, you can meet with anyone, anywhere, without leaving your office. You'll not only save time, but money, too. See for yourself. Try GoToMeeting free for 45 days. Visit GoToMeeting.com/podcast. That's GoToMeeting.com/podcast. Try GoToMeeting today.
Hi, I'm Damian Kindler, executive producer of Sanctuary, and you're listening to Sci-Fi Talk.
Back with myself, Tony Tellado, and Ernest Lilley, and Lois Bujold.
Hi.
Hey, there's something I wanted to ask you. I think if you talk to your fans, I think a lot of the reasons they like going to the worlds that you create are the fact that the characters, and they're very strong besides the lead, besides Miles.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a second part to that question. What about his brother Mark? Why was the reason for inventing him, and where is he going to go?
Ooh, where is he going to go is a question that I will only be able to answer by writing a book in which he goes there.
That's true.
He came from the novel in which he first appeared is called Brothers in Arms, and it was my first attempt to do a clone story sort of that asks some pertinent questions like wouldn't he rather go fishing, and other sort of deconstructions of the old doppelganger story. And It was a fun book to write. It's a space opera that takes place entirely in London, which really questions that definition, in which Miles is almost replaced by his clone brother, Mark, as part of a plot. But the plot is defeated and Mark is freed. The book was fun, but it had two problems. One, it was hijacked by some of the supporting characters who sort of came alive and galloped off with the plot. And the other is that it really needed to be from Mark's viewpoint, to be about Mark, to really get inside this guy's mind. So I took a second pass on the Mark problem when I sat down to write the book Mirror Dance, which went on to win a Hugo.
A well-deserved Hugo, incidentally.
Thank you. And I hit the right thing there, which was to split the viewpoint between Miles and Mark, and then get rid of Miles for a good part of the middle of the book to give Mark a chance to develop.
Well, I think you touched on something. Is sometimes when you create characters that are so strong, they sort of take you in a way you didn't expect them to because of that strength.
Mm-hmm.
I want to throw a comment in about Mirror Dance. It's a book that starts out and you realize it's going to be a Mark story, and fans of Miles, myself included, go, "Oh no, a Mark story!" And then by the end of the book, it's when's the next Mark story?
Yes, yes. Taking you through all those changes was fun and painful and interesting, and most people really like it when they're done, but they're really not sure about the middle of the book, whether they're going to be going along with this one.
There are no changes more fun, painful, and interesting than the ones that happen in the first couple chapters of Memory, though.
Yes, thank you. That does some of the things to Miles that I did to Mark, except that in Miles's problems are in a different level. Mark's problems were psychological, and Miles's problems were moral. So we moved it to that sort of different arena to give Miles his proper hard time for the book.
Just one interesting thing about Mark, you've revisited the great man problem because Mark is, in some ways, almost the son of Miles, and he's following in his footsteps as Miles follows his father.
Yes, I've summed it up as the worst case of sibling rivalry you ever saw. As an older brother, Miles is an extremely hard act to follow. And if ever you have met a surly middle child who gets tired of hearing about their elder siblings' good grades, that's Mark.
Well, Mark solves it brilliantly.
I hope so.
Well, when Ernest and you had talked early in the year, you had said that Warner Brothers had taken an option on I think Warrior's Apprentice. Yeah,
that is correct.
Has that moved anywhere? Or how?
Well, they renewed the option. And there was rumor that a script had been written and was being revised, and that is all I know at this point.
Wow.
So the question comes up again: who could possibly play Miles?
Yes, and on my net chat thread, that's one of the perennial topics. Everybody else has gotten so tired of it that they moved it off to sort of a separate chat room on the internet. People who want to talk casting for my books can talk to each other.
I heard something. I saw it on the net. The Vorkosigan encyclopedia. Is that something that you're aware of?
This is fan activity. I think it is not something that's going on officially. This is something someone is doing for a hobby at this point.
Well, that's kind of neat to have characters that people care that much about to do that on their own. Like,
yeah, this is sort of my major sort of literary goal in life. I always wanted to create characters that went on living after the book was closed, as my favorite characters have for me over the years. The ones that I've loved in literature that have gone on making up stories in my head. And I consider it a sign of life. I consider it very healthy for the kind of fiction I write.
Lois, we have to know, what are you working on currently?
Yeah.
What's the next book, and when does it come out?
Let's see, the next book is up to Chapter 8. It is dual viewpoint, set on Kamar. It's Miles's first adventure in his new job after Memory. A lot of people haven't read Memory yet, so I won't supply too many spoilers there.
From Admiral to Accountant.
Yeah, and it will be dual viewpoint Miles and another character no one has met yet. And what else can I say about it? And it doesn't have a title yet.
What's the gender of the other character?
Female. Let me get back to that female viewpoint again.
Well, there's something that Ernest asked you in his previous interview that we ran in our Sci-Fi Talk frequencies about, after Miles, an heir. So could there be some romantic possibilities between these two characters?
Deponent saith not. This book is being kept under wraps until,
I don't know. I haven't seen
what I'm doing. It doesn't even have a title yet.
I haven't seen Miles get involved with a woman that there wasn't some spark.
Yeah, it's a very complex book.
Okay.
It's a mystery.
We'll read it.
And it has more talk and less physical action than you may be used to in Miles stories, but I hope it will be interesting nonetheless.
Well, we'll look forward to at least some sparks and some other twists and turns, which I'm sure will be in there too.
Twists and turns we have, yes.
Oh, that's good.
There's no lack of those.
And when will this be out, do you think?
Oh, heavens, this is, let's see, it's due in Debane in next June, so if I finish it on time, the earliest they could get it through the publication process would probably put it in early 1998.
Well, okay.
So it'll be a bit of a wait, but people can read Memory while they wait.
There you go. And we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And we certainly hope to have you back, hopefully before 1998, when the next one comes out.
Yes, indeed.
And take care, and thanks again. And just to remind you folks, Memory is available right now at your bookstores.
Thank you.
Ern, they go by so fast, don't they?
A lot of fun. Haven't talked to Lois for a while. It's great.
Yeah, it's I'm interested in the new one too. It sounds interesting, doesn't it?
She's one of my top 5 authors.
Yeah, really? It's part of the thrill of this job is talking to them, to people you read. I'm Tony Tellado.
And I'm Ernest Lilley.
Now 76 and living in Minneapolis, Bujold remains a towering figure in speculative fiction. Here we get her talking about this journey of this character Miles, and also this book, Memory. Kind of a nice vintage conversation. Of course, you can get all of her books now, probably as ebooks, which is really kind of a cool thing, did not exist when we spoke. It was fun and always great to hear me and Ernest Lilley, because we had a lot of fun during the radio show from New York City. Until next time, this is Tony Tellado. On Sci-Fi Talk Plus, some exclusive episodes have a video version as well. All episodes will feature a podcast and also bonus video. great for listening and watching on your phone, tablet, or desktop. And besides that, it'll feature the best episodes selected by listener downloads. You can save 17% on a yearly plan to get those commercial-free episodes published Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with special episodes as well. Click on the link in the show notes today. Thanks for listening.